Hey guys, somebody was just asking who Berserk Lee is. If you don't know, because you're not far enough in the story, that's Berserk Lee. Look at how much more badass he is than the actual Lee. He's got these little face tattoos, glowing red eyes. He's got a black costume. That's if they released that as a costume, I would definitely buy it for my regular Lee because I'm not a fan of this blue jumpsuit or whatever that he's wearing. It'd be way more badass than the black with the glowing eyes and all that other crap, especially because he's all Super Saiyan and everything. We're going to be doing a couple Barsark checks you outs today. Before I get going, I do have some plans later tonight, so I wanted to knock them off, and hopefully I can get back in time to do Sunday night bar fights. We go for rank 1. Um, yeah, anyway, just wanted to show that part, and we'll get into it first. I think we're going to look at who should we go for? Let's go with collusion. We're going to inspect collusion first, and I'll break them up into different videos so that it's not all stuck together. Um, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Oh man, love this guy. He's so strong. My Lee currently with a Dacimeter set has more attack than my Chunny with a Dacimeter and a Beast Train set. So it's pretty sweet. Do 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 do. Oh, 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 oh. Down. A lot of people asking about the changes if I think are going to be very impactful. I do, but I don't at the same time. I don't think that there's going to be a huge change. Like things like Frol being really really strong now. Like he's already really strong. I don't think it's going to change much in terms of his functionality and what he can do. He will be slightly stronger, but we don't know just how good or bad Armor Ignore is going to be after the patch. So we're just going to have to wait and see how things go with that. But it's I really don't want to put solid anything down until we know exactly how the numbers work. So it might be a while before we put anything out. Oh, is there an XP event going on here? Maybe I should farm this all day with all my level 70 characters and my maxed out 2-star heroes. Alright, so let's look up Collusion. I think I have them on friends list somewhere. Okay. Somewhere. You know what? KingCharles came up first. We're doing him also, so we'll do him first for this video. Alright, so let's look him up. Cross your name off the list. Yes, there's a list now. Alright, so we're going to be taking a look at... there's no... This is his actual team. Maybe he's got... Is he using Alfred full-time? Oh, looks like. Okay, so we have a full-time Alfred user. I don't have anything really against Alfred, just that he's not very good. Oh, and we have a collector of 5-star. Wow, that's a lot. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. 25 stars and some more on the way. Let's see. 36, 44. He's probably raising Sonic Boom now because of the patch changes. He'll probably raise up Angela. Maybe Nirvana. I hate Nirvana. Like he's so bad. Like Nirvana's gonna be that hero that, oh man, if only I had 3,000 more defense for this level, and that's where he's gonna be kind of coming in handy. I don't think he's gonna be particularly awesome for an all around. This is your solid healer in your team. All right, so let's look at his characters here. We're only gonna look at the 5 that are showing, and then we'll talk about alts that he has after. He's clearly not using Sonic Boom, he's probably just raising him up, or he could have just been farming Serenity Genes, to be completely honest, because Alfred and Sonic Boom are used to farm Serenity Genes. Any of those. It makes sense with this formation, because he's got Swamp Walk heroes, and the 2 heroes he needs to farm the chains. So he might have just had formation set up to farm Serenity, but who knows. Let's look at it. Moo, Serenity, Alfred, Carrot, and in Sonic Boom. The first thing I want to say about this formation, it's there's a little bit of misplacement in terms of the heroes here. Carrot's going to be wanting to go in one of the first slots, even though she's not a utility party benefitter. She's utility damage dealer debuffer for bosses with their damage and crit debuff with her third skill. She's also nice going first to soften things up. I'd probably put Serenity in slot 1, and then I'd probably put Carrot in slot 2. And then slot 3. Alfred slot can be slot 4 or 5. I'm going to go look at one of his other heroes, and I'm going to assume that maybe he runs with Lena. So then Lena would probably be a slot 2 and drop Carrot for that. Lena basically does Carrot's job. There's a couple characters that do the same job as another character. They just do it a lot better. So this is basically what you run around spamming on the map when you're using Lena, or you're using her charm skill if there's just not any good areas to do it, because this is very good range and it's got a nice chance to charm. It doesn't do a ton of damage, but that's cool because you want to save your mana to be able to throw this down on the boss constantly. But she kind of has the same function as Carrot, like even her hitboxes. If only this was a 5 range skill, they would be like literally the exact same. With the exception of the first skill. But you want to be using this basically hold down your minions throughout the mid game, and you want to be saving your mana to be able to use this on the boss at least twice is the goal. So I think a swap for Carrot would be a better position in that. But it's fairly obvious. He's probably got his Lena built fairly well. It looks like he's pretty free to play from what I'm looking at. There's nobody who has any empty gear spots as a pay to play character. Ooh, and he's got the heavy investment on Chenny, so it'd be interesting to see where some of this stuff goes. No one will be staying on Chenny. This final skill power nonsense is garbage. It actually works exactly like damage. So if you were going to do 100,000 damage, now you do 100,750. It's not very good. Let's see. Good builds, though. He's got 1 mace and 4 bows. The mace is only part of the set, which is nice. And this is a good set to have on Chenny, at least the 2 pieces, to be honest, because PvE point of view, you're going to be going around using your third skill all the time, so you use it twice, 3 times. Excuse me. You're going to be basically walking around with that all the time, so kind of helps her second and her first skill kind of work out a lot like her third skill in terms of being able to provide consistent damage all the way through across. One thing I really like is Sling Ring. Is this a... Yeah, alright, so there's 2 attack mastery pieces. What I've been experimenting with myself is the difference between this amount of hit and crit rate and this amount of hit and crit rate. It's not much. So I've been leaning more towards 5-star attack pendant. Though look at that potential. Damn. Roll that a couple more times and see if you can get an attack type attack potential on that ring. It'd be pretty sweet. But I've been getting away from 5-star rings and going more to necklaces. Not too much brooch in terms of my my idea for how I want to have an ideal character in terms of no set item builds. Set items generally do use brooches because they generally give a crazy amount of stats that more than makes up for what's missing from the ring and things like that. So they're like, we'll give them extra HP and extra defense, and so now you have these superhero characters that have a crap ton of HP and defense at the same time. So kind of makes them all around instead of focused. But this is basically what you want to see. Like, I want to kind of use this as a benchmark. The only thing that I would change here is I would drop the ring in the fifth slot for a pendant if you have something like this. Obviously has an increased attack by 3.3%. That's the maximum you can get for a 5-star. So this is one of those times where it's an exception. If you do have the option, make it more like necklaces here and make it more like rings down here. Chenny might not get max from just the 5th one, but it'll still be in the high 90s. I believe that she does have fairly mediocre mastery as a base. But he's a little bit balanced in terms. The way he's probably done this is he probably has really good potential on this. Or not. Maybe he just has it because he has it. So probably drop that Pyman brooch for something else. Looks like he's kind of lacking in 3-star by comparison to everything else. But these two pendants, the 1400 plus the almost 1200, are definitely giving him 100% mastery now. So he's using 2 pieces to reach that, where he could probably get 98, 99% by just having 1, and then you can use 2 pieces. Like if he has, like let's just say the second star ring is 339, this one's 514, and they're both at plus 10. Oh, this is at plus 9. So I think I can go up to like 550, 570 or something like that. Let's just go crazy and say it's 600. So if it's 600 there and it's 340 here, then 2 more rings would make up for the crit that you would get for this ring. You would get more crit and hit rate. In terms of the attack and mastery on this, you would get more attack from the 5th star pendant than you would for the 4th star and the 1st star put together. And you would get roughly, I think it's only about, let's check this out real quick actually. Maybe you'd only get like 2,000 mastery. I do know I have one because I made a really awesome one last night. Yeah, so 1,500 attack and 2,000 mastery. So like it kind of washes out nicely where you're more efficient like this way because you definitely get a few hundred more hit rate and crit rate. I took off this bad boy and I switched it for this pendant last night. And now I have this awesome ring and I don't know what to do with it because it doesn't really fit kind of in my party anywhere. Got all these nice sweet things. Just a little quick fact. I'm missing, well, last night I have a build for my equipment that's more crit based. Well, let's do the comparison here. So Lee's pretty badass right now. He's more balanced though with the 88%. I take this ring, switch it with this pendant. Less crit damage, but I have more crit rate. Which, well, not more crit rate because this has crit. Well, anyway, just take a look. I can get a pink potential, so it's only a difference of 1 attack by HP, but then there's the other 376 attack there, which does give me like a minorish boost. And then this one over here, switching with this ring. Now I'm in the 90% range for crit, but my attack is down from 37 and 38,000 down to 34,000. So that's where I'm sitting on right now. The only reason I have the sword equipped is just because it's the only piece I have with attack damage and a pink crit damage potential. Though I was kind of hoping that this mace down here... Oh, where did it go? Yeah, this mace right here was going to get damage for the fourth piece. And like, oh, it's just so hard getting a perfect 5-star piece. It's way too damn hard. But that's what I was looking at right now, because if I can get the mace, it's just better numbers overall for everything. And originally I wasn't looking at the sword, I was looking at this bow, and I don't know how many times I rolled this bow, and I still haven't been able to get crit rate and crit damage on it. If I could just get crit damage on the bow, things would be pretty nice. As you can see over here, 92%. Now we're at 100%. So that's basically the build that I have to make my maxed out crit. And this is also alterable with that to now be well over 100. And then I can switch either the bow back for the sword. The sword definitely, if the sword could get crit rate, it'd be pretty sweet. But it'd be better if I can get the mace to get damage. Or I can switch this with this. Let's just take a look at that. Now I'm at 96%, and I'm still in the 37,000 range. So that's probably where I'm going to be sitting with that going into the future. But it's still a tough call as to what I really want to do, because this bow really needs the crit damage to be able to post the numbers up. But that's basically the best I've been able to work with so far. So that's what you're going to be aiming for if you're building the Lee. Sorry to KingCharles for taking this little detour here, but I'll get right back to that. I really wish your party was more ready right now. It doesn't seem like that's your actual party. Um, let's go back. Oh, oh, a whole day. You're gone. Man, look at all these friend slots. I haven't had this many friend slots in I don't know how long. Oh, Luvian. I don't want to delete Luvian though. It's terrible. Yeah. I could delete friends in there for like a week and never run out. Do we pass him? I don't think so. A lot of these people do seem familiar. There he is. Alright. What? Oops. That'd be great if I just deleted them on video. Okay, so back to this team. Alright, so in terms of formation, he's kind of got basically all the heroes in the world to make the perfect formation. He does have the potential for the perfect formation, which is Serendi, Lena, Chenny, Mu, and Jack. So he's already got like the dream team, and they're all 5-star, which is really nice. It'd be really really fun to see some play with some of that. I'll be posting some in the very near future. The only thing that's if I just real quick before I go into it, the dream team formation: Serendi, Lena, Chenny, Chenny or Angela. If he raises Angela, Angela might be a little bit better than Chenny going forward, just because there's probably going to be a lot more buffed enemies to deal with, and her remove debuff might be just extremely useful. And you can definitely play around hitting your own enemies with this, your allies with the same skill. It shouldn't be that difficult. But you have Lena and Jack, which is all the power you need in the world to kill bosses. And then your other three characters, you have healing. You have two types of heal. You have heal over time, and you have a big area heal on Mu. You have charm twice. You have stun. You've got armor ignore. You've got weakening, 27.5% weakening, which is why Lena does go before Jack, obviously. You want to have that down as soon as possible. But you do keep Serenity in the first slot. Serenity is always first slot because she's the one who can remove debuffs from your team. So if any of your team gets screwed up, then you can just cure it first turn with Serenity. She's more of a back rank player. She's not like a lead the charge kind of DPSer towards the end of the map. At the beginning of the map, she is, which is nice. Like, you want Serenity to be the first character at the beginning of the map too, because if you have to do multiple areas of a map at a time, you can go off with it to this section with Serenity, and then you could see if you can charm a bunch of guys. If you charmed a bunch of guys, then great. Now you can focus your attention somewhere else. So, like, she definitely is one of the best characters, but knowing exactly where she should be during any given map is takes a little bit of thought to it. But if you can get it down and really have a good mastery of her constantly changing roles and what role best suits the turn that you're on, Serenity is just like a mind-bogglingly amazing hero. Characters like Jack and Lena are much more straightforward. You just have the third skill that just breaks the boss into pieces. Lena's nicer because she's got all this extra utility that happens throughout the map, so she's basically got an easy ride all the way to the boss. And Jack just has whatever the hell he says when he's scratching things in the face and doing percent damage. But that Chenny and Mu, they both have kind of situational roles themselves. Chenny's mostly going to be the minion killer, like the main walks over here, blows everything up character. Mu can provide some extra support in that field, but she's mostly going to be being able to use her stun because it does hit a wide area at the same time. And her third skill as a damage attack, not just a healer. What's nice about Mu is you can use her third skill just for heals, but if you want a really good Mu build, you're probably going to need about 400 mana. So 286 mana on his Mu is just not good enough. Let's look at some potentials. So he's building a Moo kind of tanky for defense. Maybe for PvP, it would be nicer if he kind of got that 5th slot open. And I would actually recommend 2 to 3 mana potentials with Moo. Or even you could even do 5, to be honest. Because Moo's 3rd skill adds so much. Oh, he doesn't have a very highly leveled. But the crit rate maximum goes up to 7,800, which is roughly 78%. So you need very little investment with Moo in terms of making her a super high crit hero. You basically just need one good ring, and she's good. The rest you can focus on attack items or brooches if you want to make her tankier and more defensive. He's got all sword, chest piece, and brooch here, except for this is a ring. But it is a supporting thing. It buffs the whole team. It's not a huge amount, but it is something. Something's always better than nothing. And he's got her built for HP defense, and that's probably why. It looks like he's building her for an off tank. Now, I kind of want to get this idea across for tanks if it's more for PvP that he's looking. If you do not have aggro, it's a bad idea to build these characters for tanks. It's just a bad idea. A paper hero sitting in the 4th slot is kind of a sitting duck also. Paper heroes for slot 4 are situational alts for when you're playing and you're in control, not for when you go to bed, because everybody's running a scissor in slot 1. And with the big changes to Frul coming up, it's not going to be changing. It would be surprising to see a ton of Fruls just pop out of absolutely nowhere. But Moo, you're going to want to stack mana potentials more than anything else. She can get all of her defense and things like that if you want to build her by super tank. My ideal build with Moo right now is actually just based off things I have lying around. Because I have so many good sets on other characters that there hasn't been really a level hard enough that I haven't devastated it after 2 turns to need to have just more solid characters that will be awesome all game long instead of just, okay, my sets are going to run out in 2, 3 turns, so I got to just go blow everything up. There hasn't just been enough content for me to actually really put a lot of that to the test. Aside from Tower 55, there's just not very good options out there. Well, if you have a bunch of stuff that way. But she's got a really good kit, but it is pretty mana heavy. Now, her skills, this is only level 2, so it's already 100 at level 2. Just keep in mind, this is only 86, but I believe it is up to, it is up in the hundreds, like 104. Let's go take a look at my Moo real quick. Let's find Charles again. Man, why do I keep doing that? Alright, yeah, so 129 MP and then 98 MP. So if you're just doing straight damage and you're not needing this skill at all, then you'd be sticking with your stun if it can reach. This skill, obviously, different hitbox. There's going to be better situations where you can use this. So if you can spare the 30 MP, it's fine. But you want to be able to get at least 4 shots of this off. So even my move right now has only got 330 MP. These are my potentials right now because I have been saving them for other things. I used move for PvP for a while, so I kind of re-rolled. I knew I wanted higher mana, and I got a crit rate and a hit rate potential, and I thought, whatever, this is just kind of well balanced just for now. But I am going to be switching a lot of these out and switching them for MP. I want all MP potentials all the way across the board for Moo because I want her to be able to be the best at what she's doing all the time. A lot of good healers like Moss can use his heal, which his best heal is really his second skill because it adds the defense buff too. But it can only hit one target, whereas Moo can hit this wide area for like a ton because she's like her first round. Let's just go through this. Her first round is best used with her 3rd skill or her 2nd skill, depending on situation. If you expect to be taking a lot of damage on the next turn, if you know, okay, man, I'm going to be surrounded by all these guys, there's no way I'm going to be getting out of here unhurt, you're going to lead with your 3rd skill because you want to be critting your heals on your team the next turn. Now, what's nice about this skill is if you're far away from enemies, you can actually use it just on your own characters, and it will still give you the crit buff. So 78 crit rate. So just looking at the character here, I've only got 20% crit rate as it is. But once I get that flat 7,800, it's well over 100%. Excuse me, well over 100% with the potentials. Like I said, I have her kind of built for when I was using her for PvP for a bit, but this is not really the ideal build. So I'm going to be changing with her for sure. Definitely keeping this paper set on her. It's pretty awesome. I might be switching out or modifying some potentials for a couple pieces. She does very well with maces because she is going to be kind of built like healer. This is just for an extra movement right now, though I might be moving this to some other thing. This is probably my favorite 2-star movement item because you only need 2 pieces to activate it. It's a pretty solid set. Though I only had the 2 pieces by dumb luck. I didn't even know how good this was. I got these before S and whatever was the thing, so I didn't even know it was good. But you're gonna want to stack crit damage. Now this piece I'm not gonna ever modify because it's got attack damage and crit damage on it. Even though the crit damage is great, it's just not worth it for a character that you're not super serious in PvP with. Down here I got crit damage again, damage and attack. So like, I'm more looking for pieces that have crit damage than other pieces because Moo is going to be critting a lot. So being able to have her crit damage really high is like a huge awesome thing. This Ghost Step Sword is probably not going to be staying on her for very long. I don't have any potions. Kind of want to modify this right now and get some orange things on that. More HP defense. But with Moo, it's alright to have like excessive amounts of mastery. So I've got a ring. I got 2 brooches. Sorry, 2 brooches, 2 rings. Sorry, 2 necklaces, 2 rings, and a brooch. Though I might be switching that out for more brooches for the HP and defense. Unless I feel that I need more crit. I might be switching maybe this out for a bow, depending on what I have lying around. But that's just me because I play a lot of these things based off what I have lying around. To be completely honest, so don't use me as, you know what? Let's get rid of this. Need some modification potions. Don't use the way that I'm doing things as the absolute benchmark. Oh yeah, you just throw this. Oh frick. Man, I hate it when it's a good piece after I refine it. I don't feel like getting rid of it now. Whatever. Maybe we can get rid of these boots. I don't use anything for Momo, and these boots have probably cost me so much money taking them off and putting them back on. Frick, that's good too. For a dodge character, that's really good. Can't stare at it anymore. It's going. It's gone. 9. Sweet, we got 9 potions. Let's just get rid of that one. I want a better attack by HP. Probably some good boss damage because I'm using this more for a PvE character. Attack by less HP, damage to Nepenthes, no good. Increasing hit rate by crit rate is a really good 12 MP I kind of want to take, and that is minion damage and boss damage. I don't have attack by HP, but this might be a really solid piece. But anyway, it's a Ghost Step piece, so I want to build it like more for PvP, not PvE. Wow, no luck with me today. I'm recording. It's supposed to be perfect every time to make everybody else get amazing stuff and go and spend all their money. Isn't that how it's supposed to work? That's a decent piece too. If it wasn't all green. Shit. Okay, well, last one. Last one. Give me that pink one, but make it attack by HP. Whatever. So that's how easy it is to waste all your money. But that's basically how you're going to want to build your Moo ideally. Mostly maces. In PvE, you don't really need the hit rate at all. I've lost her. Alright. Mostly maces. Chest pieces for defense. Unless you have some other thing. Like I have Water Walk and Swamp Walk on my my Moo, because there were a lot of levels where I really needed the water walk. So this has been kind of beneficial for me. Not super hardcore necessary, but it is the only piece that I'm getting a crit rate and hit rate from. It's my only, I believe it. Oh wait, no, sorry. I do have the movement set, so I do have 2 rings with Moo right now. But that's the way that I'm building her. And like I said, the only changes that I kind of want to make is mana potentials, so she can keep that crit going constantly. Crit damage is your best friend with Moo, because she is able to just, if you can stack her mana potentials, which we'll try right now. Let's get a good one. Green, first try. Hooray. Oh, blue. I'm never this lucky when I'm not recording. Maybe this is where all my luck is. It's just gray 100 times in a row. Oh, wow. So laggy. What I like about, there's certain stats that I like when you're modifying potentials. It doesn't really matter what rarity you get, because it's always kind of a good amount. Like, the difference between a gray mana potential and a gray and a pink mana potential is like 9 mana, right? So it's a decent amount, but it's not really noticeable. I wonder if the game just knows what you want and just hates you for it and just won't let you get it. You ever just roll 1,000 times and you don't get like 1 crit rate, for example? I'm looking for mana right now, but whatever. The hell with this game. Anyway, let's go back to Charles here and look at some of his other characters and just talk about different ways to build them. All right. Okay, Serenity, you just put whatever you want on her. Honestly, her skills speak for themselves. If I had to choose the best way to build her, for PvE, it would probably be more the same as a DPS character, so it's going to be more bows. And he's got full bowl on her, so this is good. He's got 1 pendant and four rings. I'm guessing he might be looking for another pendant. Let's just take a look at her mastery, 91%. So he's probably going to be looking for another necklace. Sorry, for slot 4. But these are all really good, and the same kind of things you build her just like you would build any DPS character. It's just like she has all this extra utility along with it. Now he's built her for dodge instead of defense, which is decent. It's not amazing, to be honest, because dodge is kind of iffy. But dodge on Serenity, she's got fairly decent base dodge. So she's a good character to build dodge on if you are. It's just, if you are going to be building dodge, like, if you can't hit 40% on a dodge build, it's generally not worth it. So just keep that in mind. He'd probably be much better off switching those to chess pieces and getting his defense up to 35 to 40%. Because you can count on. Let's do it this way. Say he's got 40%. He's got 25% more damage that he's taking for every single attack now. So he takes 3 attacks and he dodges 1. But he's taking 25. He's only. He defends 45% of the damage. So let's say he takes 10,000 damage, and he blocks 15,000 every time. So he blocked, 10,000 damage, and then 1,500 and 1,500. Whereas before, if he was able to get up to like 50% defense, he would take 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. So generally, defense has better returns for you overall, and it's guaranteed, it's consistent, where dodge is going to be, well, maybe he'll get lucky one day. Like, dodge is like flipping the coin over and over again. And the higher the hit rate that the enemies get, the worse off it is for you. So maybe consider a chess piece build for Serenity. Let's look at those skills too. Yeah, he's doing this right. I actually did the same thing. As soon as I got this skill at level 9, I was like, all right, the hell with that, and I started raising everything else. The passive, though, is your next go-to skill, not your first and your second skill. The last skill to max is this one. The healing over time actually is really good, to be honest, but like just because it's like this extra added effect, and it hits a wide area, so you can hit your whole team with this. So that's what's the only really good thing about it. It's very easy to hit your whole team with this. Also, you can remove a debuff from a character instantly, which is nice. It's what clinches her first spot. He probably raised this because he thought, well, it's cheap, and I'm going to be doing attacks when I can't use my third. I'm out of mana. I got the co-op attacks, but you get the best return from her passive. It gives you percentage gains. It goes up to, I believe, 14%. Extra attack percent, and it's pretty damn awesome. Okay, who else? We got Jack. He's probably maxed out on Jack like everybody else in the world. Well, he's got the only good skills maxed out on Jack, so that's important. Jack's skills are really super cheap mana-wise, so you don't need that much. He's got 2 mana potentials, 1 crit rate, 1 attack, and 1 defense. If you're going to be trying to make Jack your super tank, I would drop the crit rate and the attack and just go all defense, defense, defense. The mana potentials, you probably can get away from. Jack, I don't think needs that much mana, to be honest. He's only going to be using his third skill mostly to heal himself back up and to hit bosses, and not very many bosses are going to be lasting 3 turns, especially if you have Lena on your side. Though I'd probably, just because of the returns, I probably wouldn't waste my stones changing it. Keep those mana potentials, maybe try to get some defense potentials for your other pieces. He's got a 20% crit rate though, so it's up to you depending on how you want to build it. You already got 59% defense, so if you want to switch over and have more crit, you got really high defense actually. Let's look at this. Okay, alright, so all brooches and chest pieces. So this is good. HP defense, HP defense, HP defense, HP defense, HP defense. This is a really, really well built Jack. He doesn't have the best attack stat in the world, but that can always be fixed. Yeah, this is a very he's got like the right kind of pieces you want to have on your Jack. This just needs to be a pink ranger set or whatever, and it's good. For PvE, seeing as aggro is really good in PvE, it's up to you whether this set's better for you or this set is kind of just a Jack thing. So that's gonna be up to you. I notice he's got these counter potentials on. You should probably re-roll those. You don't have any counter items. Just saying. All this damage, but no counter rate. Let's take a look real quick. 12%. You really want to be invested for 12% of the time, where you could have attack potentials that raise it up. So I'd suggest for him to keep that critical damage only if he can get up to about 30 to 40%. Otherwise, reroll for attack and damage, which is going to be more consistent for you. This is more crit damage. Crit damage. Alright, so he's pretty stacked on crit damage, actually. That mace needs to go. Crit rate and damage. Alright, so definitely hard to get good gear as a free-to-play player. When your potentials are going to be all over the place, you got to take the ones that have the good effects over the ones that don't. But if you're looking for a long-term goal, like, that's fine the way he is with the maces and all that, especially for PvE. But he's not going to be able to PvP in this state very well, to be honest. Let's just take a look at him. His hit rate is 8%. So no surprise there, but because you don't have any attack potentials, you kind of need the maces to make up for a little bit of what you're missing. And again, with your potentials, the 2 mana ones are fine. I'd probably drop the defense and the attack for crit rate, seeing as you already have good sets that give a ton of defense. You don't need 10,000 defense, but yeah, it's a very diminished return. As soon as it hits 50%, it starts being pretty low from 40 to 50, and then it's really, really low from 50 to 60, and then it's like impossible to get to 65. Unless you have the Lord Mastery for it. Okay. Chenny. I believe we looked at the Chenny. Everything's in order here. Yep. Okay, Serendi, Lena, Jack, Chenny, and Moo. Right, do we look at everything? That's probably the best characters to be going for. Yeah, this is built well. You want Lena to be a crit monster. Just to keep her third skill, it only activates if she has high crit rate, and he's definitely in the mid-60s, so his Lena's going to be a beast compared to his Jack. And you could probably drop all of these for extra potentials for. I would probably go 3 crit rate, 2 mana. Just because like she's got like the best way to use her is to use her second skill all the time, and then her third skill at least twice against the boss. So she does have a good mana pool, but characters that are super useful, PVE wise, if you want them to be as useful as they can be all the time, you're gonna be around 400 mana for PVE. Alright, so also prioritize pieces that have like extra MP on them. I'm not saying lock mana in, it's just if you do happen to get it, take notice of it, it's important. Just crit rate on there, right? Crit rate, crit damage, counter damage, attack, crit rate. Alright. Again, if just to reiterate, if you're going to be looking at trying to maximize your gear for potentials, your maximized potentials are attack, damage, crit damage, and crit rate. Those are the 4 you're looking for on a weapon. On an accessory, it kind of varies by level. On a 1-star piece, you want attack by HP. Well, actually, on every level, you want attack by HP %. That's one of the best potentials you can get. On a 1-star piece for alternates, you want HP % and hit rate, because they're exclusive for this. Preferably the HP over the hit rate if you had to choose. On the 2nd stage, you want crit rate and crit damage, as well as the attack by HP, of course. On the 3rd stage, you're basically free to just pick whatever ones from the normal ones. So maybe if you wanted to have like some boss damage or things like that, it would be good to have it on the 3rd piece because it's counter rate and counter damage for 3-star exclusive accessories, which is junk. 4-star is dodge and damage reduction by total like up to 4% less damage taken. Is the potential that you can get if it's pink. So percent damage taken, minus percent damage taken, sorry, is a good potential for that. The dodge is only if you're going to be building your character for dodge, so that's kind of more negligible. But again, always attack by HP. And over here, attack by HP are the best. Now, if this is a more PvE built Lena, which it looks like it is, the 14.4% damage to boss, awesome. That's like having a better version of damage on your gear, basically, when it comes to just straight PvE stuff. It's just an extra huge modifier. Alright, well, that's going to be it for KingCharles. We'll try to do illusion right up after this.